Friggin' criminals. All right. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. So, quite the little rogue wave we had there, huh? And I know they're blaming it on the weather and stuff, and we'll address that a little bit later. But let's come on over to our solar report right now and get started here. Let me go ahead and put this back into motion. You can see here we are, December 29th, 2023. And here's our activity for today. And as you can see, we had one big one there, another one here, and then little spits and sputters here. But the main one I want to talk about is the secondary one that comes out of here. So when it comes back around here, let's back up there. Okay, so here we are, opening frames 024 of 12/29/23. All right, you can see this big, like half halo explosion already in progress. Now note it comes down here too. Let me back up a little bit. See that motion down below here too? So this is like 3/4 of a halo. See that down there? Then this blast comes out and adds to this region down here. See that? Now, if this is Earth directed, we're going to catch some of this energy here. That was kind of a long duration blast there. So let me go ahead and start that again and catch it when it comes around again. Boom. So right there. Remember we had this one previous, very light there. And then boom, that one joins in with it. And see how it spreads all the way over to here? All of this is all the blast. And this is in the strike zone coming at us, right? Coming in this direction right here. So we might be receiving some energy from this blast here. Okay, and this being the 29th, that would translate into what, the 2nd, 30th, 31st, the 1st, sorry. So that would translate into arriving on the 1st. Okay, so let me start that loop up again. I'll let it play two more times here for you as I kind of center stuff there. All right. Looks like the frame's a little crooked, but we'll get there. All right, so there's your activity for today. Now coming on over to the solar ham here. Come on over to the solar ham here. Okay, here we go. Let's just zoom in on our GOES X-ray flux for a moment here. And scooching on over here. So you can see here that real quiet yesterday. Here's our box for today. You can see our events right here, our kind of our slow motion event right there. All right, and the other little blast. And then going into tomorrow, kind of calm. We're climbing up a little bit right there, but nothing too big at the moment. Okay, so that's your activity showing up on the GOES X-ray flux for today. X-flare chances 1%, M-flare 15%. That might change here pretty soon. We got all the sunspots are nice and mellow right now, which is good. Let's slide over here. Come on. Oh, I hate it. That one does that. I'm trying to slide over to the KP index here, please. Thank you. So as you can see, KP index has been really, really quiet. A little bit of activity right here, but nothing much over 2. So pretty quiet as far as the KP index. You can see our auroras are nice and quiet right now. That's pretty faint and pretty weak. Just a mild solar wind hitting us. Okay, so that's good. This tracker wasn't showing anything, but let's just see if it's going to update anything new. Nope, it doesn't appear to have any one of those 3 blasts that we saw. Okay, we counted 3 decent sized ones there and still nothing on the tracker. All right, I have a feeling that second one is coming towards us, so it looked like it was. So we'll continue tracking that since these guys aren't sure what's going on yet. But let's come on over to this site now, because that one was bugging out. Come on now. just as it comes up. All right, so there we go. So right here, they're calling for a geomagnetic storm watch, a G1. 2024 could begin with a geomagnetic storm. NOAA forecasters say that G1 storms are possible on January 1st when a co-rotating interaction region, a CIR, is expected to hit Earth's magnetic field. All right, these CIRs are transition zones between fast and slow-moving solar wind streams. All right, they contain CME-like shock waves that do good jobs at sparking auroras. So they're calling for this CIR to hit around the 1st. Okay, so also that's the same thing that I was talking about. Those two inbound, or those two waves intersecting each other, look like they're moving our way. What else was I going to show you here? That's about it from that site. Now let's come on over here where we need to talk about this. If we can get it to refresh. Okay. There, that's a little bit better. Okay, so here's our polar vortex. First of all, let me rotate it around to America so you can see America. Remember, I was talking about this bulge in it last night? That bulge has crept even further north now. Look how much further north it is now. It's almost cutting off of Greenland. The southern tip of Greenland is outside of it. So this little bubble it's really shunting north, or more towards that side of the planet, giving us this flow. You see how it peels off and then goes backwards across the country. Last night I was showing you how it was starting to hook up with this other sub-vortex over here. Well, now it has. Now we have complete connection and flow coming off of Maine, going across America, across the Pacific, and joining in with the other sub-vortex over here on this side. And now this sub-vortex is gaining strength down here. Okay, it looks to be almost a double vortex more on this side now than anything else. And what it's really done here has bent the shape of the polar vortex. It should be going around like this, right? It's been cut in half and it's coming straight down and taking a hard right at Europe. So watch out. Great Britain, France, Spain, Germany, all of Europe, all of Russia, you guys are in the polar vortex. It has shifted and is now just coming right off of Greenland, Iceland, and taking a hard right and coming right at Europe. So everybody there, be prepared. You're just going to be in for it. While over here on this side, we got this safe bubble of protection. Let's go to the upper jet streams now. Okay, now you can see America here. Here's the west coast, the east coast, and Florida. And let's go a little bit. There you go. And you can, when I release it, you'll see the winds and how they're affecting. Stuff's coming at the west coast and getting shunted way north, way up there. This huge ridge right here has taken everything that's coming right at the west coast and diverted it up and shoved it down into Mexico. Then as it goes down into Mexico, it comes across the Gulf and comes screaming up the east coast. Just offshore, too. It's a good thing this is shifted this way and it's a little offshore instead of going right up the coast back here where it was before. So now our jet stream has kind of shifted to more offshore flow than being right through the country. All right, now this has affected over here. You see, all right, this is where our flow came off and started going the other way with our other vortex over here. It's taking their jet stream and focusing cold air to come down from here out of Siberia and stuff and come together with this warm air off of India and China and going right at like Japan, Korea, this whole region, the northern Pacific right there is just getting hammered. And then you see this intense flow, all of it come together, all this huge mass, all in one coming right at the west coast like this. And then it just gets split in half and goes right up over like this. Okay. Then there's another effect happening here, something I haven't seen before, and I was a little worried that might happen. So let's, we got to go back over to this here first. All right. So here we are back at the polar vortex, and I'm looking at the feed. I always look at the inflow for the vortex, right? Because it's pulling wind or it's pulling air. It's got to have some kind of source, right? So if we follow this source back, note right here, something I want to point out here. Here we are at the equator, right here. Usually air doesn't come across the equator and go from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere. Here we have this vortex rotating here that is taking air from the southern hemisphere. It's drifting on up and going into the polar vortex. The polar vortex is actually causing air to come up from the southern hemisphere. See this flow right there? And then there's another region right back here where we have this flow coming off the southern hemisphere, creeping up and getting into this fetch that feeds the polar vortex. So the shunting down of this has caused this to lift on this side. Now our blue line, see this little blue line, the separating line is usually way down here. See how it's divided now? Now we got it here and here. All right, so this air from here is getting sucked up from across the equator up into this fetch that's going into the polar vortex. Same with this region right here. Okay, it's coming off the Africa, going north and getting up into that. So I was wondering if we would ever see something like that where the vortex got so strong that it would suck air from the southern hemisphere. And it's not the fact that it's so strong, it's the fact that it's pushed and shunted to one side so much that it's actually dipping down and pulling up energy from the southern hemisphere now. All right, so you see this flow, and look how organized the southern flow is. Everything's all going in one direction. The whole southern hemisphere, all on the same page, all going in the same direction. While up here on the northern hemisphere, we got this. And look, it's strengthening. It's actually pulling this vortex apart and becoming vortex down here. And that's out off the Pacific, coming back at China. Okay, so we're having this polar vortex is just changing every day now. And when it should be kind of, we're out of transition season. We're into winter now. This should be nice and organized and round and circular with our little boundaries, everything, the blue boundary areas all set up and organized evenly, where now when we look down on the North Pole, it's not, it's just doing half of the vortex. It's just going right through the middle. It should be rotating around like this. All right, so it's cutting halfway through, going across Iceland and going right into Europe. So watch out, Europe, for crazy weather. All right, let's come on over to the earthquake report here. Few new ones right there we'll get to, but let's just start down here where we usually do. Here's our deep quake of the day of 4.3 down at 550. Didn't set off any energy into this system yet, or there hasn't been a release in this side of the system yet. But as we go up into this side, we have 4.7 down at 153. We have a 4.6 down at 152. Now, these are a little deeper than surface quakes here. Nothing around this region. Here, let me pull back. Look how quiet this whole region is right in here. There's just nothing going on right there. As we come over here to Sumatra, though, where we have our new volcano Marapi going off, over here on the plate boundary, a 5.6 went off at a depth of 10. So we're getting energy creeping up this side that's releasing. All right, there's still pressure down below. Now here we are at our fulcrum point. Boom. A 5.0 at a depth of 10. So the 5 energy is creeping up through this side. Nothing at this fulcrum point yet up here. So I'd expect to see maybe 1 or 2 dumped off there and then creep in over to here to Europe, setting off here and there, possibly mid-range 4 to 5. Right here, we have a 4.8 on the mid-Indian ridge, releasing energy at those plate boundaries right there. Then, as we come on up here, just this one little quake here in Japan, 4.5 down at 49, and then it's really quiet all around this region. Nothing up here in Kamchatka, nothing along the Aleutians. This one little lone quake here is a 3.4. That's nothing. Little lone quake up here, 2.5, but that's nothing. So note how quiet it is up in here. Now, as we come over here to California, nothing on the Juan de Fuca, but we have one on this side of the plate, a 2.7, and then on the other side, 3.5. And now, just recently, we had a 3.3 down in the Sears Valley. Okay. Over here, 2.7, nothing much. Our weak spot, here, come here. Our weak spot here in Texas, 2.9, not much. So all in all, the earthquakes are pretty quiet, aren't they? That map is a bunch of fives out there. Here's one right here, a 5.1 on the Eastern Pacific Rise. And then over here, this 5.3 at the Sandwich Islands. So basically just some mid-range 4s and 5s out there, all popping off on the plate boundary lines and fulcrum points. Yep, that's about it for the quake report. Let's come on over to the volcano report real quick. Or maybe not real quick, but when it does come up. Hey, John Wayne. American hero. I don't see many of those anymore. Okay, this is already currently for Saturday, December 30th. Already we have Gluchevskoy going off, Ibu, Marapi, Dukono, Popo, to 21,000 feet. There's a little increase. Nevada del Ruiz to 22,000 feet. That's another increase. Sangay to 22,000 feet. There's another increase. Reventador to 14,000. That's another increase. All these volcanoes have increased in their height. Sabancaya. All right, that was just for today. Now, or that was for the 30th. Now let's look at what happens for today, the 29th. Oh, Lord, please give me patience. It's so important to have men's abs and women's boobs and all kinds of stuff all over. All right, so I was trying to get the 29th. And why did it send me back to this again? There's 29. Trying to get to that. All right, here we go. So today we had Gluchevskoy still going off after a little more than 1 month since the last paroxysm. The volcano and new eruption seems to have commenced at the summit. So Gluchevskoy again. Sakurajima, 7,000 feet. Suwano-Jima, volcanic ash advisory. Same with Ibu. Luatobi to 9,000 feet. Dukono had a blast to 13,000 feet. Popo's was to 20,000 feet. Remember, it was 20,000 feet. Now, again, today, 22,000 it was. So they're increasing, I think, in strength. Fuego, Nevada del Ruiz, Reventador, 21,000. Sabancaya. All right, and then there's your list. So those were your volcanic blasts for today. Let's come on over to the forecast. And we'll get this little loop running here for you. Let's go. Why can't we see? There it goes. See the date and time up in the corner. Really not much to report on except for this big storm right there later on in the week. Everything kind of calming down and hella glitchy. All right, stop right there. All right, current conditions right there. Whoops. Get a little bit more. Okay. So current conditions are going to the morning of the 30th with this storm coming on to the shore here to California, morning of the 30th. There's noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 31st, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 1st, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 2nd, noon, convection. A little bit of another storm coming in here on the 2nd at the end of convection, going into the night, morning of the 3rd, noon, convection. You see this scraping along down the bottom here, chances along the shoreline there. By convection of the 3rd, going into the night, morning of the 4th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 5th, noon, again over here in the Pacific Northwest, convection. Those things starting to spin up on the 5th, the nighttime of the 5th, morning of the 6th. Okay, so here at the morning of the 6th, we have this chance for severe weather blossoming up here in Louisiana still. That's the noontime, convection, the nighttime. Another storm coming onto the East Coast or West Coast here as this thing hits Florida and South Carolina there. That's the morning of the 7th, noon, nighttime, morning of the 8th, noon, nighttime, morning of the 9th. Now here, that's the noontime of the 8th. That's the end of convection, the 8th, with this possibility for severe weather and snow down in Mexico. Okay, so we'll still watch this. Could still happen, and it drives even further down in there by the nighttime of January 8th. So we might see snow down pretty far down into Mexico too. On January 8th. Then that low kind of still drives up and starts to consolidate and get its act together here by the morning or noontime of the 9th with severe weather coming onshore here. There we go. That's the end of convection, the 9th. All right, with this huge area, even spots back in here. All right, and this is still kind of subject to change because it's still a ways out there, but keep your calendar, mark on your calendar, watch out for the 8th and 9th time frame. Whoops, come on now. When this could possibly congeal and come together. All right, now we're into the nighttime of the 9th. As this drives up the East Coast, we got Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina going up into Tennessee. and then dissipating a little into the morning hours. That's the noon time. Still all these millibars, really high winds, big blizzard back here, okay? Give me one more. That's the end of convection, or no, yeah, that's the end of convection, the 10th, the nighttime of the 10th, and then the morning of the 11th. It's pretty much out of there. It's drawing moisture up here again, though. Let me show that on the end of convection, the 11th. So let me back up a few. From the noon to convection right there on the 10th. Then we go into the nighttime of the 10th, morning of the 11th. The morning of the 11th, the tail of this is going to draw up severe weather right across through here. Then from the morning to the noon time, it's still there. Going into convection, it's starting to move up this way. See that? So it's lingering there. Then this little energy comes up and starts to push it up by the end of convection, the 11th there. So storm chasers, watch out in this region. We might have a good chance here on the 11th in the south here, especially right there by the nighttime. And then it starts to go up the east coast for the morning of the 12th through the noontime, the end of convection, and then the night of the 12th, leaving by the morning of the 13th. And after that, it's pretty clear. Okay, so just that one mean monster to kind of watch out there. Few impulses coming in through the west coast. That one driving snow down into Mexico. So here it comes. Here's this storm right here. I think it's this one right here. Comes in, starts to pull cold air clear down to Mexico down there. They're calling for snow. So that's quite a monstrous system there. So everybody get prepared for wild weather again here around the 9th. Okay, that's still a little ways away, but in the meantime, we got a little break. Maybe go get your supplies and get ready and brace for the next few rounds here. Brace for 2024. That's what you're braced for. All right. That was it for the solar report, weather report, all that great stuff. Time to get into the spiritual report. Let me just X out some of these so I can use that one. Takes up way too much room. All right, now we'll come over to here. Pull up my channel. Which one should we look at tonight? Help me, Lord, pick out one. That one again, huh? All right. Oh, cool. You got an ad too? Notice how you can't click out or skip your ads anymore? It's like the whole ad plays now. Come on, Jarrett, eat your sandwich. All right, there we go. Get the wavy lines out of there. And then we'll just kind of let that play in the background for a second here while I... Okay, here I've taken about 7 or 8 of those pictures and put them together and cut this back in there. And you can see the different images and that this event, is taking place here because there's more that happens here. Okay, so starting here, we're going to go forward a little bit here through a lot of these images, all the way to right about here, where you can see that this face has changed now. Now we're seeing a more round, like lion type face with the nose right here. Here's an eye coming out here, an eye going that way. Here's its mouth slit, the chin going down here. So this round face right here with a crown still above it. Now I'm going to go through and show you the flip book where it changes from Jesus to this lion face. Okay, now we're here at this image right here. This is a flip book of about maybe 15 or 20 of those pictures, and it's the transition between Jesus's face and the lion face. Now this happened in the class. All right, so there's that, and now let's come on over to here, and right there. That's good. Okay. Take a sip here real quick and do a reading, and then I'll let you guys go. I know it's late. Oh, way behind there. All right, well, we'll just leave it alone. And start reading. Okay. I need a better light here. I am with you and for you. When you decide on a course of action that is in line with my will, nothing in heaven or on earth can stop you. You may encounter many obstacles as you move towards your goal, but don't be discouraged. Never give up. With my help, you can overcome any obstacle. So do not expect an easy path as you journey hand in hand with me. But do remember that I, your very present helper, am omnipotent. Much stress results from your wanting to make things happen before their time has come. One of the main ways I assert my sovereignty in the timing of events. Let me say that again. One of the main ways I assert my sovereignty is in the timing of events. If you want to stay close to me and do things my way, ask me to show you the path forward moment by moment. Instead of dashing headlong towards your goal, let me set the pace. Slow down and enjoy the journey in my presence. Every time you affirm your trust in me, you put a coin into my treasury. Thus, you build up equity in preparation for days of trouble. I keep safely in my heart all trust invested in me, with interest compounded continuously. The more you trust me, the more I empower you to do so. Practice trusting me during quiet days when nothing much seems to be happening. Then, when storms come, your trust balance will be sufficient to see you through. So, store up for yourself treasure in heaven through placing your trust in me. This practice will keep you in my peace. Be joyful always and pray continually. The way to rejoice at all times is to find moment by moment pleasure in your relationship with me, the lover of your soul. This relationship is so full of comfort and encouragement that it's possible to be joyful in hope even when you're in the midst of adversity. So give thanks in all circumstances. There is immense power in praying. Thank you, Jesus. These three words are appropriate for all times and in every situation because of my great sacrifice for you. I encourage you to praise me for every good thing as soon as you become aware of it. This practice adds sparkle to your blessings and heightening your joy. When you are feeling sad or discouraged, it is still a good time to thank me. This demonstrates your trust in me and brightens your perspective. To enhance your gratefulness, ponder specific things about me that delight you. My continual presence, my lavish grace, my unfailing love. Thanking me in all circumstances strengthens your relationship with me and helps you live more joyfully. One more sip here. I offer you inexpressible and glorious joy straight from heaven itself. This triumphant heavenly joy can be found only in me. It is easy to slide ever so gradually from delighting in me to living for the next spiritual high. Sometimes I bless you with a taste of heaven's splendor, but the primary purpose of these experiences is to whet your appetite for the next life. Do not underestimate the brokenness of this world you inhabit. Your enjoyment of my presence will always intermingle with the sorrows of living in this fallen world until I take you into glory. Someday you will see me face to face, but for now, someday you will see me face to face, but for now you love me without having seen me. You believe in me even though you don't see me. This love is for me is not irrational or whimsical. It is a response to my boundless passion for you, dramatically displayed on the cross and verified by my resurrection. You worship a risen, living Savior. Blessed are those who have not seen me and yet still believe. Okay, that's it for tonight, you guys. I'm making it quick. I gotta get some rest. I hope you enjoyed this show. Until tomorrow, I'll probably do another show. But that's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I'll be back. I am back. Can't you tell?